Can we rise for the invocation?
Oh, gracious Father, we just thank you for this year, Father. Father, sometimes we move from week to week, month to month, Father, and just don't give you the time to say thank you, Father. Father, we just want to take this opportunity, Father, to thank you for allowing this council to just continue to move forward in this city, in this community, Father. Father, we just thank you for giving us a mayor, Father, that has a vision, Father, to move this city, Father, in the direction you want to go, Father. Father, we just thank you as having the people in this city, Father, to have a vision to move this, Father. And we just want to thank you, Father. And Father, we just want to continue to thank you, Father, to let us grow to be what you want us to be, Father. By us doing this, Father, together, to make this city and community what you want it to be, Father, we just want to give you all the glory and all the praise. We thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call this meeting to order. We have a roll call, Mr. Johnston.
Councilmember Stringer.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Moody.
Here.
Councilmember Cooley.
Here.
Councilmember Key.
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Here. Thank you so much for everyone's attendance. Can we have the minutes from the December 13th, 2016 regular city council meeting, please?
Minutes of the regular meeting. Mayor Copeland called the meeting to order at 6:00 p.m. Councilmember Cooley led the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk Scott Johnston conducted roll call. All members were present. Mayor Copeland announced a quorum. The minutes from the November 22nd, 2016 work session and regular meeting were approved as corrected. Councilmember Moody made a motion to approve the amended agenda to include line 6, item B. Councilmember Cooley seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas, Councilmembers Jackson, Moody, Cooley, Key, Stringer, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Councilmember Key introduced Resolution 2016-249, enumerating the official holiday calendar for calendar year 2017. Councilmember Key made a motion to approve and adopt Resolution 2016-249. Councilmember Stringer seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas, Councilmembers Moody, Cooley, Key, Stringer, Jackson, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Councilmember Stringer introduced Resolution 2016-250, authorizing the mayor to manage financial accounts. Councilmember Cooley made a motion to approve and adopt Resolution 2016-250. Councilmember Jackson seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas, Councilmembers Cooley, Key, Stringer, Jackson, Moody, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Mayor Copeland introduced Mr. Larry Young, representing Albright, Fortenberry, and Ninus LLP. Mr. Young presented the results of the mayor's audit for the fiscal year 2015-16, ending September 30th, 2016. They have issued an unmodified report, which is a term that the financial report is in accordance with the generally accepted governmental accounting standards of the United States of America. In addition, we were issued an unqualified opinion, which is quote-unquote a clean opinion for internal audits that apply to governmental auditing principles. He also stated that the city has a cash reserve of 1 year's worth of operating funds. He thanked Ms. Shelby Branton, financial officer, for her efficient preparation. Mayor Copeland nominated Ms. Lisa Deason to be appointed as the city administrative official to the Planning Commission. Councilmember Moody made a motion to reappoint and approve Lisa Deason to the Planning Commission. Councilmember Key seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas, Councilmember Stringer, Jackson, Moody, Cooley, Key, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Mayor Copeland nominated Mr. Mike Kane to the Planning Commission. Mr. Kane's term will commence January 1st, 2017 and expire December 31st, 2022. Councilmember Stringer made a motion to appoint and approve Mike Kane to the Planning Commission. Councilmember Key seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas, Councilmember Stringer, Jackson, Moody, Cooley, Key, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Mayor Copeland nominated forming the following committees and the respective council members. Annexation Committee, all council members. Environmental Committee, Councilmember Jackson, Chairman. Councilmember Key, City Planning Administrator Lisa Deason, City Financial Officer Shelby Branton. Finance Committee, Councilmember Cooley's Chairman. Councilmember Stringer, City Financial Officer Shelby Branton. Parks and Recreation Committee, Councilmember Stringer, Chairman. Councilmembers Moody and Key. Public Safety Committee is unfulfilled at this time. Utilities Committee, Councilmember Jackson, Chairman. Councilmembers Key and Moody. Councilmember Cooley made a motion to approve all the mayor's committees and their respective members. Councilmember Key seconded the motion. The roll call vote was as follows. Councilmembers Jackson, Moody, Cooley, Key, Stringer, Mayor Copeland. Nays, none. The vote passed by unanimous vote. Having no further business, Councilmember Jackson made the motion to adjourn. Councilmember Cooley seconded the motion. The motion passed, and at 6:29 p.m., the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnston, for keeping good minutes. I need a motion and a second. Yes.
Is we supposed to amend the agenda?
Yes, I'm about to do that. I'm sorry. Thank you, though. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Key and Mr. Cooley. Also, guys, I need a motion to approve amended agenda, swap line items 2 and 3, and which would be Pledge of Allegiance and call to order, as well as line item 8, where we add the Planning and Zoning Department monthly report. Can I hear a motion and a second to approve that change to the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Cooley? Can I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Thank you, guys.
Need a roll call vote on that.
Roll call vote on that.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Moody,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooley,
Yes.
Councilmember Key.
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, so very much. At this time, we will hear an ordinance 2017-122, introduced by Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Ordinance 2017-122, State of Severe Weather Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday. This is the first reading on that particular ordinance.
Okay, doing our first reading, we'll have a little small discussion here on this. This is a state holiday that the governor has asked to put in effect to cover for preparedness for any storm purchases that you need to buy. Generators, gas cans, tarpaulins, anything else that you could think of that you would use for storm preparedness. So guys, this is our first reading. We'll vote on it next council
I need to
meeting.
read it publicly, though.
Okay, go ahead and read it first.
Yeah. Ordinance 2017-122, in accordance of the city, an ordinance of the city of Smith Station, Alabama, to accept certain quote-unquote covered items from the municipal sales and use tax is authorized by Act 2012-256, generally referred to as the State Severe Weather Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday Legislation. be it ordained by the City Council of Smith Station, Alabama as follows. Section 1, in conformity with the provisions of Act 2012-256 enacted by the Alabama Legislature during the 2012 regular session, providing for a state sales tax holiday, the City of Smith Station, Alabama exempts quote-unquote covered items from municipal sales and use tax during the same period beginning at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, February 24th, 2017, and ending at 12 midnight Sunday, February 27th, 2017. Section 2. Covered items may be found on the following website of the Alabama Department of Revenue, http://www.revenue.alabama.gov/sales-tax/WP sales-tax HOL.htm. Section 3. This ordinance shall be subject to all terms, conditions, definitions, time periods, and rules as provided by Act 2012-256. Section 4. The city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to certify a copy of this ordinance under the seal of the City of Smith Station, Alabama, and forward said certified copy to the Alabama Department of Revenue to be recorded and posted on the department website. Section 5, this ordinance shall become effective immediately.
Again, that was the first reading. Move along to Resolution 2016-251. I'll ask Mr. Moody to introduce that, please.
Resolution 2016-251, a resolution for the City of Smith Station, Alabama to dispose of certain items of property and routine accounting records which are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes.
Go ahead, would you please read that, sir?
Thank you. Whereas the City of Smith Station, Alabama has certain items of property which are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes, and whereas the City of Smith Station, Alabama has routine accounting records which are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes, and whereas Section 114356 of the Alabama Code 1975 authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded property and records. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Smith Station, Alabama as follows. Section 1, that the following property and records owned by the City of Smith Station, Alabama are inoperable and or not needed for public or municipal purposes: computers, monitors, printers, mouses, adding machines, various office equipment, duplicate maps, routine accounting records. Section 2, that the mayor and city clerk are hereby authorized and directed to dispose of the property and routine accounting records owned by the City of Smith Station as described in Section 1. Approved and adopted this 27th day of December 2016.
We'll get a motion and a second, and we'll open up for discussion. Can I have a motion to pass Resolution 2016-251?
Motion to pass.
Mr. Moody?
I second that.
Second by Mr. Stringer. Is there any discussion?
Just have one item here. In the heading up there, Mr. Johnson, accounting records, records is misspelled. It has nothing to do with changing the texture.
Oh, records.
But
Thank you.
just for recording purposes.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else have any discussion over Resolution 26-251? With no discussion, I ask that you call for the vote.
Councilman Cooley,
Yes.
Councilman Key,
Yes.
Councilman Stringer,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Moody,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. Thank you so much. Item number 9, financial statements. I would ask at this point in time that our CFO, Ms. Shelby Branton, would come up and give in a financial statement of the general fund budget for the month ending November 30th. I'm sorry, I'll go to, sorry, number 8, it's new. I will ask at this time that we have the Planning and Zoning Department monthly report given by Ms. Lisa Deason.
Okay, just wanted to give you a few bullet points on some of the things that we have going on right now. A couple of times in the past, I have spoken to you about reviewing that the Planning Commission is actually in the review stages for the new zoning ordinance and the subdivision regulations. And when we hired Epiphany Collaboration LLC, the intent there was to do an 18-month side-by-side of preparing the comprehensive plan as well as doing the zoning ordinance and the subdivision regulations at the same time. It kind of worked somewhat. There was a lot of cramming in there that went along with trying to do the comprehensive plan all at the same time. So technically, what you do is write your comprehensive plan first, and then you write your regulations and ordinances to follow along with that comprehensive plan. So that brings me to the point where we are, and that is that we're in the second draft stage of writing the new comprehensive plan. As you well know, our last comprehensive plan was prepared and published back in 2010. Several items in that plan were accomplished. However, there are still some things in that plan that we have not yet accomplished. However, we do not believe that we will be able to accomplish them in the near future. So, which is not uncommon. Comprehensive plans are meant to carry you out 5 years, or they could carry you out 25 years. And so the previous administration felt that it was necessary to come up with new ordinances as well as writing a new comprehensive plan. So some point in the near future, I will be providing each of you with a draft copy of that for your feedback, and hopefully maybe plan some type of one-day retreat, or have a meeting with all the council members, with the mayor, the city clerk, and the planning commission, so that we can go through those and strategize about, what do we really feel that we can accomplish in the future. So I feel pretty good about what they have provided in the draft format. But of course, it's just in draft, so we definitely need to meet and take a look at that at some time in the near future. We're in the final stages of pre-construction for the new Southern Oak subdivision, the one across the street from the high school. 4 lots have already sold, and they haven't had the signs out for very long. We've been trying to control the stormwater. As you know, that land was graded, and it was cleared and graded and grubbed and all of that during the drought. And with, of course, Smith Station having such a high water table, we didn't realize that the water was going to be so heavy and the ground couldn't saturate it. So there was major erosion going on. And the county, as well as the city, we've been doing stormwater BMP inspections, which is basically best management practices for construction sites. And they had to make some changes, some improvements to their BMP plan. And it seems to be holding steady at this point. We gave them a final punch list of things that they needed to implement, and I met with them last Thursday, and those should be completed by Wednesday, tomorrow. So it looks like new construction, you'll be seeing construction going on there fairly quickly. They've been great to work with. They're actually putting up a new fence, and a nice new monumental sign is going up. You'll be seeing that probably in the next couple of weeks. And the ADM MS4 permit that the mayor was discussing, that is our permit for 2017 to 2022. It was due this past Friday, and basically outlines the city's plan for what we will do over the next 5 years to control stormwater flow and discharge of polluted water. Anything that the water carries with it as it flows to the creek, we are responsible for. That's basically what our permit is we are permitted to allow stormwater to go in our creeks. And so that is why we are, very cautious about construction sites, because we don't want sediment flow going into the creeks. as we all know, eventually all of that water goes to the Chattahoochee and flows to the ocean. So they want to know how we will control that over the next 5 years. So that's what the plan is for, is basically an outline. And doesn't go into a whole lot of detail, but our annual report once a year, that shows what our results are, the outcomes that we have, how are we measuring and how are we making a difference. So our responsibility is once a year to let them know exactly how our community plans, or how our community over the past year has performed, and lots of new ideas. We've also included in our new comprehensive plan, as well as our subdivision regulations and zoning ordinance in the draft so far, we've included how we will address stormwater in those areas as well. So as you know, Mill Creek is on the 303D impaired list for the state, which means it is has excessive nutrients, which is mainly, your standard fertilizers and high sediment, basically urbanized areas of growth, which causes that. So it's our job to make sure that it does not become so excessive that it's harmful to the microorganisms and the fish and wildlife that utilize that water. So that's pretty much where we are, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
Now, we're legally required to keep the stormwater, wastewater in
We
order.
are.
Yes.
Mhm. When a creek becomes impaired, the state will send down a requirement that basically any municipality, because I have had questions about we have a Smith's Water and Sewer Authority, why can't they do that? Well, it's municipalities who own their own water, or even if they don't, it doesn't matter. Municipalities are in charge of making sure that impaired creek water is taken care of. Smith's Water and Sewer Authority has partnered with us to help us have access to those areas that we test, because we do have to do ongoing testing for 4 different sites in 4 different places. And that consists of the pH, alkalinity, dissolved oxygen percentages, and that sort of gives an indication to the state how healthy or unhealthy the water is. Apparently, over a period of time, the water was obviously unhealthy when ADM tested it, and that's how we got on the 303D impaired list. So yes, it is required by the state. We are required to pay, and I don't know how much it would be this year, but it's somewhere around $1,500, I think. Shelby, correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember, and we'll get that bill soon enough, I guess. Well, I think I do believe that it's around $1,500 for the permit, that was 3 years. So it could be more for the 5-year. But we are basically asking them, we're paying to get permission and acquire a permit to allow anything that passes through our city that is carried by the stormwater, allowing it to go into the water. So prevention obviously is key, and some of the things that we've mentioned about signs, the do not litter signs that Mr. Jackson has brought up in the past, that we would like to also see those in the future. And people need to identify that creek. So.
Is there any discussion? Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Deason? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How are our creeks holding up, Lisa?
Well, we were audited this past August, and that was our very first audit where we've been into a full plan. The previous audit didn't go so well, but we did not know what we were doing. We were partnering with the county at that time, and they chose to do their own permitting process, and therefore the city had to do their own. But we passed in all areas. That does not indicate that the water is more healthy or less healthy, but what we have reported back to them is that we are doing a good job. And they come here on site. It was an on-site visit. It was a 3/4 of a day. where the regulators come in, they inspect and verify that you are doing what you said you were going to do in your plan. I will say that our dissolved oxygen levels for Mill Creek are fairly good. Our sediment levels have clearly gone down as a result of making sure that we are going to every inspection, going to every construction site and doing our inspections. Between myself and our code enforcement officer, we make daily observations, visual observations, and at least once or twice a week, we are stepping on the ground on those sites. So by keeping all of those things on a to-do list each week and making sure that we evaluate and inspect all of the sites, we are able to keep the excessive nutrients as well as the anything toxic, out of the water. And we ask also that the community, our residents, let us know if there's ever any issues or suspected sewage spills or any illicit discharges that, if it's a foul smell or whatever, that is very important, as we do not want to have bacteria in those waters. And as you all know, we can have failing septic tanks around here, and that's based on the high water tables that we have. And of course, older homes are going to have older septic tanks too that we have to be careful about. So I think all in all, we're doing pretty good.
Thank you so much, Ms. Deasy.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 9, our financial statement from our CFO, Ms. Shelby Brandon.
Pretty good information, Lisa. Thank you. For our profit and loss performance, general fund budget, November 2016. We'll start off with our franchise fees received of $15,900.98. Our gas tax distribution was $2,153.18. Our planning and zoning fees were $1,099. Our total property rental was $5,669.85. Our total sales and use tax was $26,526.05. Our tobacco tax was $843.92. Our total income for November was $52,353.29. On page 2, the administrative expenses were $27,246.44. Our financial expenses were $13,662.18. Our park and recreation on page 3, our total was $11,166.71. Our total expenses were $52,075.33, which gave us a net income of $277.96. Now, we do realize that November is not a month where we have a lot of income coming in. Our biggest months are starting January with the business license, big franchise fees. So November and December, we tried to just break even.
Thank you so much. We have to get a motion and a second to approve the financial report, please.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Cooley made the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you so much, Ms. Brandon. Both of those ladies do a great job. Ms. Brandon has asked to be excused, so thank you. At this point in time, we'd like to entertain if there's any public comments. Ms. Spangler, Ms. Alice Spangler.
Hi, Alice Spangler. I'd like to address the recycling area behind City Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
That I use that, and that needs to be addressed. It's overflowing the last couple months. I don't know, Waste Management isn't picking it up like they used to. The doors have fallen off. That needs to be addressed.
Yes, ma'am. We have addressed that. We have a bid out, working on a bid process right now to get that back wall fixed as well as the doors fixed. We had a storm that blew through and damaged that area. Obviously, you can tell. And Waste Management, we're working with them they're on the process of improving their performance, as well as they're allowing us to use an open top to get rid of Christmas trees for recycling at that point in time in history as well, starting January the 4th.
Okay.
So all those issues have been addressed. Due to the holiday season, it's been kind of delayed, so I apologize about that.
Is it going to be expanded? Obviously, people are really using that.
I do not
And-
think at this time that it will be expanded due to the fact that there are other ways in the county to do that. There probably will be in the next probably year if need be. We just need to do a better job of maintaining it, and that's waste management as well as us.
Okay, and maybe I just throw that out there to the people that are on the environmental committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe a bigger recycling project or something for the city.
I'm going to ask Lisa, she's on that committee, if she would interject at this time.
Well, I would just, there is a problem out there. It is overflowing, and it's mainly the cardboard box area. I think one of the ways that we can address the overflow of that, and I'm very thankful that people are using it, is by at least, maybe tearing down the boxes and making them flat, because people are just bringing boxes and they're just piling up. But that is, the recycling portion of that area is run by Lee County Environmental Services. And they've missed our route a couple of times, and so they have to have a certain truck to lift that. That's a very large recycle bin. So we've asked them to take a look at that and possibly, help us come up with a solution. So in the meantime, if we can tear down the boxes, that might help with the space problem.
Right, and also like with the plastics, there isn't anything posted about what numbers or anything. I mean, it would just, I don't know, help me to know what to take, so I'm not just throwing garbage in there.
That's a good suggestion.
Thank you so much for that information.
Thank you. And also I have one other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to suggest that the city maybe purchase a marquee for the front of the city hall to help get information out and keep the citizens updated, and everybody else, seems to be doing that, going that way. And I just think it's very convenient and would be very helpful.
Yes, thank you. We're in the process of redoing that sign right now. I talked to the guy this morning that helped take the Christmas tree down. He owns a sign company, so that is something we're looking into, so I do appreciate
So
that.
an electronic,
I don't know that we'll be able to, we'll look at the pricing on those.
okay.
And
But it really would help you get the word out with everything, with the tree recycling.
I totally agree. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? At this time, I'd like to recognize my good friend from Cable TV of East Alabama, Mr. Tony English. I appreciate you, buddy. I see him everywhere. He's the hardest working man in the cable business, next to Trump. All right, or whoever. At this point in time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion was made by Mr. Moody, seconded by Mr. Jackson. Do you have anything before we adjourn, sir?
Yeah, I need to see everybody. I finally have, go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
We adjourn this meeting.